time to get a little bit of maintenance done just in time for the 2021 Niagara Falls Chevette meet. I need to adjust my parking brake ever since doing the exhaust on the bottom end of the car here. Now the cable just needs to get a wee little bit tighter. There's some slop in it, shouldn't be there, so we're gonna tighten that up. We're also gonna pull the rears and check the drums, make sure that the adjusters are all in check and doing what they should be doing. You just saw, maybe for the first time on camera here, that I bought a sweet used axle jack, and it really does make life easy. I guess you also haven't seen the exhaust yet. So there's that. I removed the old rusted out system, and basically from the manifold down, I put a whole new system on it. 2-inch stainless. I've got a brand new cat. I've got a resonator. I've got a nice 2-inch muffler, bit of a tailpipe. And then the one thing I'll admit, I'm not proud of this hanger. It's a couple of gear clamps holding the old hanger in place, but the rear quarters of this car are pretty bad and they need to be replaced. And that also incorporates this hanger for the muffler, for the tailpipe. So I kind of figured, let's just wait, deal with that later. But yeah, task at hand. Adjust the parking brake. Play with the timing if we feel like doing that tonight. Just give her a general once over on the brakes and see that we're okay and ready to hit the road. So let's start by adjusting that cable. So if you guys remember back when I first got this car going on the road, the e-brake cable would drag on the exhaust, and that's why it busted originally. So in order to avoid that, I added a piece of sleeve on it, and basically it was a piece of pipe. And that was the bushing that rubbed along the exhaust. I knew the exhaust had to be replaced at some point. Finally got around to replacing it anyways. But by doing that, removing that piece of pipe with the bend in it, it essentially made the cable longer because now it's straight. So now the cable's out of adjustment. I don't think there's anything wrong with the rear brakes, but we're gonna have a look at them at least and find out. Make sure that the adjuster's working like it should be. So taking a look inside the rear drum, the shoes still have lots of material on them. Looks like the adjuster is out a little ways. We can probably make it a bit tighter because how easy that drum came off. So I think I'll snug it up a little bit. You can see where it's been rubbing the rotor, or where it's been rubbing the drum and where it hasn't. Kind of irregular wear, but it's kind of equal on both ends, so I'm sure that's no issue. But we're gonna get it a little bit better adjusted so it's a little bit tighter. I prefer to have the brakes grab when I need them to, so we'll snug this side up, then we'll wander over onto the other end and do the same. So both rear brakes were adjusted without any troubles. They weren't really stuck. I think it's just lack of use, and then making that parking brake cable tighter is certainly going to help this grab and work properly as it should. So let's take this thing down off the air jack and get it set level. Eventually we're going to be checking oil and fluids, just making sure everything's topped up as it should be. I do want to see about maybe playing with the timing just a wee little bit, because ever since the rebuild there, I've been able to push it a bit harder, and maybe it's time. So this jack is pretty simple the way that it works. You air up the tank and it pushes the piston up. See it go up. Once you get her up, you can hit the unlock, releasing the safety. Dump valve slowly lets the air out of the tank. You want to go slow because all of a sudden the car drops. There we go. And that's that. Probably the coolest jack I've ever used at this point, and I've been told its capacity is significant. So I'll have to try that out one day and see what we can actually lift with it. But the Pontiac, it's kind of hilarious and a joke. It just throws it up in the air. And the lift was less than 100 pounds because I can only fill my tank so much on the extension cord that runs out here. So to get to about 100 pounds, I got to shut it off, and then I can't get any more air until I totally drain the tank again. All right. Well, that's a bit of maintenance for you for now. Alright, well, I just took her for a quick little cruise, just down and back the street here. 30 degrees seems to be a pretty happy number. Didn't hesitate on acceleration or decel or anything like that. Felt like it had plenty of power. I mean, for the Chevette. I'm gonna leave it there for a little while and feel it out and kind of see what long term what it does. A couple 100 kilometers or so, and kind of go from there. But it felt all right for what it was. Ha, parking brake works real good now. Perfect.